Hey guys, it's your best boxing friends. I'm Kelsey. This is Rachel. Rachel, I'm so excited about Ruiz versus Joshua 2. But I'm also excited to test my expertise up against the world. World. That's another echo. Listen, I see so many predictions for this fight, and I'm pretty confident in this one. I'm going to share it with you and the reasons why, and I want to get your opinion. I haven't talked to you about this yet.
Okay.
I think this rematch is going to go the full 12 rounds.
Okay.
I think it's going to go the distance, and here's why. First of all, I think that Anthony Joshua didn't fight a smart fight in the first fight, okay, and it still went almost 7 rounds, right? He still got through half the fight, giving up his length. He's got something like an 8-inch reach advantage on this guy, and he's a lot taller. I think tactically he's going to come in and he's going to use his length like he should have done from the very beginning. And even, here's the biggest thing, even if AJ lands a big punch on Ruiz like he did in the 3rd round of the first fight, he knows that he can't rush onto him and try to gun for the knockout, because when he did it the first time, he got knocked down 2 times in a row in the 3rd round and 2 more times in the 7th. And so I think that he's gonna do his best impersonation of Vladimir Klitschko. Remember how Klitschko would fight people? And that is in part because of what Klitschko experienced, the same thing that Joshua experienced against Ruiz. He suffered early knockout losses to guys with fast hands because heavyweights with fast hands are trouble. And so from then on, he just didn't engage in that stuff anymore, and he used that to become one of the most accomplished heavyweight champions of all time. I think Joshua has that ability. I think he has the team around him. I think he's smart enough to know, hey, I'm not going to rush into anything in this fight, and I think it's going to go the full 12 rounds.
I can totally see that being the outcome. I'd actually say, like, if you have all the different ways this fight can go, one of the most, like, laid back, boring, like, predictions would be that your previous champion, Joshua, will come in and he will be like, oh, this is what I did wrong in the first fight. This fight, I'm not going to do that, which would make the fight less exciting, right? If Joshua fights this fight where he's not going to get knocked out, I think the fight is less exciting. He can go the whole 12 rounds and win the fight.
On the card, in the last fight, when the fight was stopped in the 7th round, Andy Ruiz was up by 1 point on 2 scorecards and down by a point on the other one.
Mm-hmm.
That tells me, because it looked mostly like Ruiz was handling him in that fight after the 3rd round, depending on how he scored the first 2 rounds. So, I mean, what I'm saying to you is that Joshua's going to get the benefit of the doubt from the judges because he's the guy in there making $85.7 million. He's the big name. He's the guy people pay all the tickets to go see. He's the guy who the lead promoter is attached to. That's just how boxing works. And so I'm not saying that it's fair or right or that's how it should work, but that is how it works. And so what I'm saying, when you have all that going for you, you have such a long reach, you're so much bigger, why would you ever go and try to take the fight to Andy Ruiz? Why wouldn't you make the shorter, slower guy come to you and just, here's something else I bet we don't see him try to throw anything more than 1 or 2, maybe very, very rarely 3-punch combinations in this fight. In the first fight, he tried to let his hands go. That was a mistake.
I will say that sometimes fighters lack, I don't know, the discipline, whatever it is, to fight an entire 12 rounds in the best way to win the fight.
Yeah.
And not to throw anybody, like, under a bus, but that's what we saw with Andy Lee versus Chavez Jr., right? When he fought, like, he let go and just said, screw it.
I'm going to fight this guy, and even though I'm winning every round.
And just because sometimes you get, like, tempted to just go in there and brawl. And so I just want to, like, put that out there.
I wanted to be fair to my friend Andy Lee. I thought before the fight that if he chose to do that, that he would knock Chavez out with his right hook.
Well,
Andy Lee had one of the best right hooks in the sport, so who would have thought that would have worked out that way?
He could have done that, right? Like, it totally could have happened. It just didn't.
You know, you're winning a fight. You're like, I'm going to go for it. Now, the difference is that this is a rematch. You know, I bet, and in fact, I know for a fact. So a similar thing happened when Andy Lee fought Brian Vera for the first time. Mm-hmm. He got knocked out. They fought again in the rematch. Andy Lee made that a boxing match and won just about every second of that fight to win a 12-round decision.
Right.
So I think that in a similar way, that's what Joshua is going to do with Andy Ruiz.
Yes.
But I think it's going to be a competitive fight. Andy Ruiz is a really good fighter with fast hands. He knows how to cut the distance and how to get his punches off. But I've seen Andy Ruiz go rounds with lesser fighters, such as, for example, Joseph Parker, a former heavyweight title holder. And I've seen Anthony Joshua go rounds with guys too. I think this is going 12 rounds, and I like Joshua by decision in a fun fight, but in a fun, mostly it'll be fun because it'll be exciting because you'll be like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Is somebody going to land a big punch here?
Yeah.
I think there will be big punches landed in the fight, but Andy Ruiz is tough. He's hard to get out of there, and AJ has shown that he's tough too, as long as he doesn't take too much punishment like he did against Ruiz in the first fight.
Yeah. For me, basically anybody that comes to me with like their prediction for how this fight is going to go,
you're like,
I'm like, I can see that. Yeah. Like, I can just see so many things happening for this fight. Like, I have no idea. I have no idea if Ruiz can come in. Does the like spectrum of his like boxing, skill and talent, was it all on display against Joshua? So if he comes into another fight like with Joshua, who changes what he does, can Ruiz do anything else to do? So if Joshua boxes tall, how does Ruiz like handle that?
Yeah, how does he cut that? And he's shown the ability, like he's had to do that for most of his career at heavyweight.
Right, like he's not a taller heavyweight.
It's different to do that against Anthony Joshua, who, remember, before this fight was considered easily the consensus #1 heavyweight by most people out there in the world, in a deep heavyweight class. That's saying something.
Yeah.
So, you know what else is saying something? You say something great every time you like, comment, and subscribe to Real Talk with Kelsey and Rachel. We appreciate your support. We can't wait to watch the fight this Saturday, and I know you can't either, so be sure to come back here after to get our analysis and instant reaction to the fights.
Okay.
It's during the day.
Yeah.
See, she didn't even know. That's how cutting edge we are. We're ahead of ourselves.